plan this morning was to get up and start working on the JK project that I've been trying to get around to, but this is New England, so I guess we're doing a little snow shoveling before I get started. Now, as you can see, I've gone and stripped all the plastic off of this Jeep. Kind of wanted to do away with the plastic, put metal products on, you know. Couldn't hurt anything, right? So I'll make it a little bit more durable. But the other idea is I wanted to keep the lowest center of gravity. I wanted to run 35-inch tires. I've had 35s on a JK before. Probably gonna have to chase a coil spacer in the front or something like that once I start putting winches and front bumpers on the front of it. Anyway, we're gonna do some flat fender flares and inner fender liners. I haven't got any bumper set up yet. You know, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do for weight and stuff like that. So for now, we're gonna get started on that, and this is day one of the JK build. See what we get into. Just wanted something that was high clearance, but metal, tubular, take a beating. You could possibly stand on it. I mean, that was the idea. And then most people go and spray paint the back side of their inner fender liners in the rear. I didn't really want to go and have all that exposed, and I didn't want to listen to the rocks ting in the bottom. So I went and found somebody who makes a plastic inner fender liner that's made to fit behind your flat fender flares. That way the rocks are hitting the plastic. I don't have to worry about painting this. I've got no mirrors. Deleted the mirrors. Don't need those things. They're plastic. I'd seen a buddy of mine snap one right off on a tree. So I'm going to get some swing away mirrors that mount on the side of the windshield so that if I remove the doors, I still got my mirrors. I've gone and deleted the license plate. That way I don't get hung up on it and yank it off or whatever else. Gotta figure out something to protect these brake lights. Now when you go and put these new flat fender flares in, you have to go and put these little inserts in. So you gotta drill your hole a little bit bigger, pop your insert, and you have to crush these little guys. And you can see one that's kind of uncrushed. And it's got these little lines in it. So when you go and crush that, it starts to collapse like that. Now this one's a little messed up and crooked. That was my first one. You can see how it's starting to crush there. And when it crushes in between the metal, the insert is now sandwiched in there, and now you have a permanent insert. It's a nice idea because there's no way to get to the back side of it, but man, they're a pain in the butt to crush. You can see the plastic inner liners, they tuck up underneath the flares. They actually look pretty sweet. I mean, yeah, it's plastic, but it's gonna save me from having to paint anything, and it's all seamless. So after I bolt all this in, there's no need to put caulking or foam or anything anywhere. Doesn't look too shabby. Well, went and got 35-inch tires mounted today. Those are ready to go on. But before I go and mount those, I have to put these inner fender liners in. Put a little fly fishing insignia on there. A little custom job. Pretty slick. There's some seams still open, but I suppose everybody who buys these metal fender liners has to deal with the same sort of thing, so oh well. Got rid of most of the white. Quite sure it's gonna need some leveling in the front. Not too bad. I got a rear bumper. I got a front bumper. I went and got me a nice new winch, 9,500 pounder. I got some stubby mirrors. And just so I don't scratch the paint, I got my significant other, Sierra, here. She's gonna help me lift these puppies up, and we're gonna put them on and see how they look and see how they fit and go from there. Alright, so we get it all on. We got it finger tight for the most part. I'm going to go through and tighten everything up, hook all the wiring up, make sure the lights all work, but it looks pretty good. Clearance for those front tires. It's nice and stubby. I gotta figure out where I'm putting all the wires for that. I got a light bar coming for the front bumper. I still got the side markers and everything I gotta hook up on the fenders, but back bumper's real high clearance. It doesn't stick out past the body. It's kind of what I was going for, you know, a little extra clearance. Whereas I'm not trying to lift it too much, you know, I'm trying to get as much clearance as I possibly can. And that reach usually would be down here stock, but it's up here now, so that's even better clearance, which I like. It came with the little D-rings with their little insulators on it, so you don't get all that clanky noise. I installed this new front bumper. They still have this air dam cross member thing here. I'm more or less gonna just try to cut it right up in here somewhere. I just grabbed a line. I don't know if you can see it, but wherever that line is, I'm gonna cut it and just remove this thing and grind it nice and smooth and put some paint on it and call it a day. Well, that certainly wasn't as fun as it looked. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but I got it off. It's not very thick metal, but this side came off easy, and then this side has this little canister right next to it. You gotta be careful not to hit these lines. So, been out playing around this thing for a little bit, doing a little bit of four-wheeling, nothing too crazy. Getting into some flexy spots, finding that I'm rubbing in the back. I went and I bought me some JKU springs. They're off of a four-door. The idea is they got a little bit stiffer spring rate, so installing these springs kind of just naturally sits the Jeep a little higher. Not much. I mean, I'm hoping it's no more than 2 inches. Now this can be a fairly easy job. You disconnect your sway bar, disconnect the shock on the bottom, you jack up the vehicle from the axle, you put a jack stand underneath the frame, and that's going to allow you to drop the axle. Put your spring compressors on. You only have to put them on finger tight because you got the tension of the vehicle on it right now. So when we drop this out, it should come right out. Now, all the labor is going to be trying to compress this enough with that spring compressor to pop this one in. So that's going to be a few minutes. And there you have it. Well, I did my measurements, and I've got roughly an 1.7/8 up front, and I've got an 1 3/4, just somewhere around 1 3/4 in the rear. We're going to Newport, New Hampshire, meet up. About 15 Jeeps, I believe. We're gonna go see what kind of trails they got up here. It's all new to me, so I'm gonna tag along with these guys and see what they got. I got the JK with me. We're gonna test this thing out. This is first off-road voyage, so we'll see how we do. It's a Sunday afternoon, it's raining out, we didn't have a whole lot of things to do, so we decided to jump in the Jeeps and we're going to go check out some trails in Reading, Vermont and in Springfield, Vermont. I got Lance with me and his YJ, so we're going to see if we can't get him and his son Steven into some trouble. So yeah, first hole we get into, what do? Buried the sucker. It's a little deep in this corner. JK's pretty fun. I've been riding around in it a little while. 35s are pretty slick. Everything fits nice. Everything works great. Lights work great. But I keep running into this problem of not having any room. Now, I'm not really a big fan of longer Jeeps like 4-doors and Gladiators and stuff like that. They're pretty cool and all. You know, I like my short wheelbase. I like to be able to get around in the woods. But now I'm doing much more overlanding type stuff where I'm bringing the camping gear and everything else, and it's really getting cramped. I mean, you want to bring 4 people in a 2-door Jeep with all your camping gear. I mean, you're gonna need a box on top, something off the back, you know, all this cargo room. Man, it's just so much work. And do I really want to spend all that money on a 2-door? So what I'm trying to say is I think I'm gonna trade this puppy in for a 4-door. It sucks because I just built it, and you know, I like it. It's sharp, but as far as me going and doing all these extracurricular travels, I need more room.